On tonight's episode, we're giving the Sandero some
shaft.
upgrades. The shaft, I like it. What else is on the episode tonight, Chris?
We also take the UDR in the snow because I got tired.
Stay tuned. Welcome.
Welcome.
Episode 90, Ultra RC Hobby Show.
90.
He's Chris.
Away from 100. This is Aaron.
So, on the Ultra RC Hobby Show, we do a lot of cool stuff every week. Friday at 7 o'clock, we do drag racing stuff. We do product reveals. So, just like tonight, we're going to talk about the new Proline Hyrax tires or the new MIP Driveshaft for the Sandero.
We also do running videos.
We also do racing.
Yeah.
And we can race all across Western Canada. And we do a lot of different events.
Exactly.
So, there you go. So, thank you for tuning into the channel. So, as Chris said, he got some new tires on the old Udder.
Yes.
He was also, some big news, he was also featured on Proline Racing's
on their
Instagram story.
Yes.
So,
I got out with the
Congratulations,
GoPro the other day and got some sweet footage.
congratulations.
So I picked these tires up on the weekend.
Yeah.
And mounted them up, glued them up. You helped me glue them up on the live.
Yeah.
And took them out, and they are just amazing. Like,
Yeah.
hands down over the stock tire, especially in our conditions. I can only imagine they'll be even better when they're even softer in the warm weather. But you can actually drive it in a parking lot without it skating around now. So it's amazing.
So, just referring back to our conditions, so if you're just freshly new to the channel,
Yes.
we are from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. And in Canada, especially in Saskatchewan, it is cold
Yes.
and
It
snowy.
was like minus 20 when I took it out.
Yeah, it
and it
sucked.
was windy.
It sucked. So just a little bit of backstory. So when we say in our conditions, usually we range from plus 20 to minus 20.
Yes.
Like we have this big 40-degree split. So welcome to Canada. Anyway, these new tires, you brought them here. And we
Yeah.
tried them out in the back alley.
Yeah.
And it was super icy, and the stock tires normally sucked.
Yeah,
Once
it takes
the car,
a while for the truck to get going.
and I noticed like once the car gets a certain amount of angle, it was almost impossible to bring back.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was just like a consistent
Yeah.
slide. So these tires made a huge difference. So let's show a little bit of clips now, and then we'll show some more after.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are some UDR clips with the brand new Proline Hyrax tire. So that was some UDR running footage, and we'll have some more later on in the show. So
It
stay
wasn't
tuned
really
for
running,
that.
it was more driving. Have you seen an RC actually like run physically?
So wouldn't that just be a robot?
Yeah.
Touche.
True.
Touche. So we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna start trying to do more of these. We get asked about these a lot. Product reviews and our opinion on it. We did kind of one with the STRC wheelie bar. We got these sent to us from our supplier. So thank you, High Performance Distributors, for this. Thank you, Sean Olson, for giving us your truck to hop up. So what we're going to be doing tonight is the brand new MIP center drive shaft. So from the transmission to the rear axle, transmission to the front axle for the new Element RC Sandero. So if you don't know, MIP makes some really heavy duty, high quality drive shafts, and they're universal.
That's a heavy duty. Did you hear that?
They're made out of black steel, so they're black and hardened steel. And the new shafts, I don't know if you can see that in the...
Is that what the new thing is about them?
Yeah, the new shafts.
Same like joint style and everything, but they put a...
But the new shafts, I don't know if you can see them, they're hardened steel, and they're actually like heat treated. So instead of them being just regular old silver or black hardened steel, they're actually heat treated, and that's what makes them look that purpley color. So with these, this is a brand new kit that MIP just released, and it is for the Sandero. There hasn't been a whole bunch of people doing upgrades. In the last couple weeks, like STRC dropped a couple like frame rail braces and a couple other small odds and ends. Beef Tubes also did some different things too. So on tonight's episode, we're going to install these, give them a product review, and then in the next couple weeks, we'll come back to it and give you our overall thoughts and opinion.
Held up.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll show you the footage of us installing it and unboxing this. So stay tuned for that.
Well, unpackaging it. It's not in a box.
Well, I can put it in a box.
We're not gonna.
I could.
I gotta lie to these people.
I'm going to put it in a box now, just in spite.
No, you're not.
We are here. We have the Element RC and the brand new MIP Element RC center drive kit, part number 19110. So let's rip this bag open and get started on installing these on the truck. So the tools you will need are going to be a 1.5 and a 2mm driver just to put these all together. So you can see the new cross pins are going to be heated, and that's why they're like purple bluey color. They give you the shims, they give you 2 long and 2 short universals, and obviously your 2 male, 2 female bones. So let's unbox it and get her installed in that beast. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so a little more in depth on the kit. So like I said, we got the short knuckle, the long knuckle. We have these 4 aluminum wide spacers. 4 regular grub screws, so 4 universal cross pins. We get 8 of the grub screws with the little step on it to go inside the pinion. We have our universal barrels, 8 thin washers. We also get obviously our male-female bones. But one thing that their MIP supply now is called a complementary support bag. So you get an extra cross pin, extra grub screw, and extra universal barrel. So that's actually quite nice, a little bit extra bang for your buck. They also supply thread lock and your grease. So let's start building these, and I'll give you some tips and tricks on how I build mine personally, so we can at least keep the thread lock attached to the knuckles and the universal barrels. So let's get into it. First things first, I do highly recommend going on the MIP online website, looking up this part number, so 19110, and downloading and printing the instructions. Most of it's pretty straightforward. It's a 5-page instruction manual, and it's actually quite detailed with what you want to do, where you want to put your thread lock, things like that. But this is the big one. So you can see that there is a whole diagram of where you need to put the spacers, things like that. So I would highly recommend printing off this instruction manual. It's 5 pages, makes the setup process a little bit easier. Okay, so let's start by building the front drive shaft. So we're going to use a male and a female bone, and we're going to use both of the shorter, not the longer. Ooh, did I drop it? The longer bones. So we'll start with the short ones. So first things first, what I do, grab the brake clean, spray it on a shop towel, and what we'll do is we'll take all of our grub screws and give them a good clean before we put them together. So it's pretty crazy the amount of machine oil and stuff like that is pre-put on those screws, so you can kind of see it. So go through all of these grub screws, all of the cross shafts, And we'll also do the same procedure with these barrels. So the one end is actually going to be threaded, other end. It's actually threaded in there for a grub screw to get held in. So what we want to do as well is this part here is going to have some machine oil on it. So we are going to want to put our brake clean through there, and what we're going to want to use is obviously a toothbrush to get all of that sorted. So we'll give that a clean, give all our parts a clean, and then we'll throw this on time lapse and start building. Okay, so I got the other two drive shafts pretty ready to go. So I was just gonna throw this last one together on camera because there was a couple things that I do want to make sure everybody sees. So everything's clean, and the purpose we do all that cleaning is so when we put these shafts and bones together, the thread lock itself will have something to hold on to. So if you leave that machining oil, it'll actually not have the thread locking capacity like it would if everything was clean. The thread lock is going to want to attach obviously to metal, not to grease or machining oil. So one other thing I do want to mention, these pins right here, you can kind of see they have a little flat spot in them. So what we want to do is we want to line up the flat spot with the grub screw that's going to go into the barrel of the universal. So we want to put this together, line up our flat spot. So it's kind of hard to see, but inside there the flat spot is facing out. Then what we want to do is grab our little grub screw, which is this guy right here, which we already cleaned up. And we want to put a little bit of thread lock on it. So using the thread lock that MIP includes with the kit, just twist it on there. You don't need a whole heck of a lot, just a light little coating will do you. You don't need to gob it on. And then we'll make sure that the flat spot's still in here, and we'll just thread it in. One thing that you do want to make sure on though is when you go and have this all tightened down, just give it a good tighten, but then you want to take your rag and just wipe out any excess Loctite that could be in that joint, because you don't want to put your grease and then spin all your grease and your Loctite together, because that's not going to have a free joint. So now they're all together. We're going to do something a little bit different with these. I don't know if I want to use the grease that they include or like a bearing grease or something that we have here. In the cold weather, most of the time this grease gets rock hard and it turns into a paste. So we might honestly just use a silicone spray for this winter and keep them rust free, and then come summertime maybe do a little bit of different greasing, but we'll see what happens. I think I'm just going to put them in and give them the silicone spray treatment for now. So here we go, we got those installed, so let's get them on the truck. Okay, so we have obviously the rear one installed, the half of the front one, and now we're getting to the rear. So in the MIP manual here, it says use spacers to adjust pinion, end play, and diff. And what they mean by pinion end play is the amount of in-out play that the pinion is going to have. So there's a little bit of test fitting. They say you want to use one of the thicker aluminum spacers and 2 of the regular washers. I found that was pretty darn close. I usually like a little bit of end play, because if you tighten it down all the way, what's going to happen is you actually preload the pinion bearings, and they can have issues. So the easiest way to tell is just put your spacers on there and then look through the hole of the pinion. So you can see that it's not all the way set. So maybe that's a little bit tight, so I'll take one spacer out and we'll continue to install. But other than that, install's been going good. Other thing that you got to watch out for though is make sure that you put the female ends on the top and the male ends on the bottom, just because you don't want to have this flipped over and get water sitting inside of these ends or pushing water to the actual universal itself. So always have the female joints at the top and the male joints attached to the diff. So you got the drive shafts installed, and the beautiful part with this truck and how they have it everything set up is it rolls nice and smooth. There's not a high spot or a low spot, and the fit and finish is very, very nice. And there it is, all set up, ready to go. So I would say this is definitely an upgrade if you want to put big power into your Sandero, your TRS4, anything like that. I mean, the Sandero does have these drive shafts that do have the aluminum middle insert, and they seem to be pretty darn tough, but if you put big power or you're doing a lot of technical stuff where you're jammed up, that's going to be usually your first failure. overall, a pretty solid kit. They definitely are expensive. I think they're about $100 Canadian, so they're definitely not inexpensive. It is nice though that you do get this complimentary support bag and all your thread lock and your grease. Like I said, we're just going to give this a silicone spray treatment to make sure that we get the grease all the way through and it's not going to get super sticky when it's cold. So that's what we're going to do on this, but I would give this product a solid review just because, I mean, the instructions weren't in the box, which it's kind of frustrating. I mean, I'll give them credit. They're trying to save paper and kind of do all of that stuff. And realistically, I didn't need to print them out. I just wanted to print them out for the customer if they ever get back to redoing this setup. So that's the only reason I printed them out. I honestly would just would have looked on my phone, seen where they put everything, called it done, and never would have printed them, but I did for the customer. So I'll give them, I won't dock them any points for doing that just to save paper. That's cool. Sell 100 kits at 5 sheets of paper. That adds up pretty darn quick. So that's a bonus. I'll give this kit like a solid 8 out of 10. And the only reason I say it's an 8 out of 10 and not the 9 or a 10 out of 10 is the price. Price is a little bit heavy at that $100 Canadian. But other than that, the fit and finish is awesome. It is a little bit tedious putting all these washers and getting your end play on your pinion. A good rule of thumb is about a business card width of play or a little bit less, like the thickness of the business card. Usually that's how we set all our 8 scales up, just because you don't want to preload the bearings, especially once everything starts warming up and expanding. So you definitely want to leave a little bit of play there. Other than that, it was a solid kit, and I would recommend it to anyone that is having drive shaft problems. So there you go. There is the new MIP Sandero kit, part number MIP 19110. So yeah, that was unpackaging and starting to install the new MIP drive shafts on the Sandero. So like we talked about before, let's show some more UDR footage.
My next question though, Aaron, is when are you going to get set for yours?
I don't know.
Because I mean, we have a long-standing like race request from me from a while, like when I still had the normal tires.
I know.
And now I really want to race you, dude. Cause,
you're gonna destroy me.
The difference in these tires, guys, is just amazing.
It really is.
Yeah.
They're way more aggressive, but whatever compound they're using. So this is the new silver compound. Double silver dot? I think so, double silver dot.
Yes.
So the cool thing that we noticed, and what made a big impact in my mind on these tires, was when we took it out and it was minus 20, they didn't get super hard, like rock hard, like the stock UDR tires did.
Yeah.
Because the stock UDR tire got so hard it had no traction.
Exactly.
These stayed relatively soft and still created a lot of traction.
Yeah, and I went out and I used like a battery pack and a half. And they were still soft, squishy, and everything when I was done.
And they're not even broken in yet.
Exactly, and they're just getting softer. I can already feel it in the tread.
So I'm really interested to see kind of how they run come summertime. If they're going to have a lot of side bite, so they might like slide over a rock or a hill, and we maybe want to flip the truck over.
Which I mean, the truck was already a little bit prone to.
Yeah,
but it's gotten better now with the hot racing straight bars.
So yeah, here's more footage of the UDR on those new Proline Hyraxes.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's it. That's all we got for
just
you,
booked.
folks, this week. So
And
thank
I
you.
installed the Max 6 in there too, so.
Oh, but we talked about that before.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I forget things.
ADHD is a cruel
Yeah.
mistress. But anyway, that is it for us tonight of the Ultra RC Hobby Show. But before we say goodbye, what tire are you running on your RC vehicle this winter?
Yeah.
That is the question. You running paddles? You running like a studded tire maybe?
You're running some Traxxas tracks in your TRX4?
Yeah. Traxxas
I think I might have
TRX4?
to pick up a set.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I heard they're pretty unstoppable in the winter. So throw those down in the comments below, and we're really interested to see what you guys and gals are running this winter. But that's it. So before we say goodbye, don't forget to check us out on all our social media platforms. Sales at Ultra RC Hobbies if you want to email us. www.ultrarchobbies.com if you want to check out our website, which I highly recommend. Check out us out on Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, and obviously Facebook, Ultra RC Hobbies. Don't forget to check him out on his social media stuff, RC Deebs on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Yes, sir.
So thank you so much for watching. We hope to see you again next Friday. And before Friday, you should check out our Facebook Lives every Thursday at about 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
We do things.
And
Cool
stuff.
things. So you should check it out. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. We're on the road to 500 subs. We just hit 300. We're on the road to
Yes.
500. So thank you, everybody, for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to hit that bell to get notifications. We really do appreciate it. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Bottle flip. Failure.
I quit.